That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear. Battle for freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello everyone, this is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo5 Radio, and I'm glad that you're following, you're listening, and you are with me on another day during this crazy year called 2021, where we thought it was going to be a whole lot better than the craziness that we have to experience in 2020. You have the people who made the joke, hindsight is 2020. Well, honestly, I'm almost trying to get ready to say 2021 can get behind me as well, because it has not proved itself to be much better than anything else. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle4Freedom on Mojo5 Radio. My website's Battle4Freedom.com. I want you to go there, share it out with as many people as you can. I also want you to do me a favor, go to Mojo50.com and share that out. That's how I can speak to you, as well as many other hosts that are on this amazing network. Go to Mojo50.com, basically share that out to your friends and family. Get them happy and excited about, this free speech network where everybody says anything and everything to get you riled up and going, because that's what we do here. If you want to interact, you can go to Facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio and leave comments. I see Lisa, Heidi, Linda, Lep, Josh, and Jill. Thank you for being part of the program today. So I can't even tell you how to, and good morning, Renee. I can't even tell you, begin to tell you how to pronounce today's broadcast. It's YGTFTROYP, partisan and passionate or patriotic. Partisan, passionate, or patriotic. Now, before we get into that, because this may rile you the wrong way, consider New Life Holistic.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom had sent you. One more thing. Give them the code Mojo50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
Yes, New Life Holistic. And share that out with as many people as you possibly can, because a lot of people are going to be experiencing some very traumatic things. We are less than 7 days away from the big event that takes place. Either there will be bloodshed. There'll either be bloodshed or there will be bleeding hearts on both sides next week. We are at we're unfortunately going to be at a very critical point of our nation's history because of the fact that we have allowed our emotions to get the best of us. Welcome, Sarah, and thank you. Congrats for getting out of Facebook jail. So YGTFTROYP. What does it stand for? Now, I want you to look at, in the background on the image, for those of you who are not watching, I have a picture of the Beastie Boys behind burning flames, and you have the Democrats to one side and you have the Republicans to the other side. So, to help you understand what this stands for is, you got to fight for the right of your party. Is because of the fact that we have put ourselves in this position that we say we're fighting for America, but they got a chance to do it and we can't. They got a chance to be vile and foul and we can't. Do you remember when they did this? It's not that we've forgotten. And the people that you're trying to tell to remember that they've forgotten, they haven't forgotten. They just choose to selectively listen and appreciate history and the truth. And we're going out of our way with tons of memes and tons of posts and tons of articles and videos that shows the barbarism of the other side that we can show over and over and over again. Make no mistake, the media will take full advantage of the disaster that took place last Wednesday in the Capitol. And there's nothing we can do about it. They are the tech giants. We are not even... No. This isn't even David and Goliath. This is one ant versus a force of thousands. We have allowed a monopoly to take place in front of our lives and basically control us as best as possible, and we're angry that we can't do everything that we want. So because we feel that our side is being denied, and yes, rightfully so, the censorship is clear. The censorship is clear and there's no way around it. The problem here is we sat on our bums expecting that things would change without making changes ourselves. Regardless of whatever Amazon's doing, and I've beat this horse. We should have had our own independent platforms. We should have had everything. But everybody keeps thinking, okay, oh my goodness, Watson, he's a turncoat, he's a liberal, he's a socialist. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that he doesn't want to listen to what we have to say. It's not that I don't want to have to listen. It's just that everybody's getting riled up and everybody's getting all emotional. And no one's calming down and trying to think this thing through and not allowing their emotions to get the best of them. Period. It's their choice in deciding what they want to do. And if you want to get worked up, if you want to get worked up into a tizzy and you want to get stressed out all the time, so be it. There's nothing I can do for you to help you overcome the disposition that will make your life distressing in many different ways. There's just nothing I can do. I can only encourage you to just take a chill pill, chillax, be passionate. Not partisan, but be patriotic, be passionate, but not partisan. Because the moment that you're partisan, it removes our clarity, it removes our ability to focus on what matters most. And yes, Renee, the powers of darkness never listen. And understand that darkness is in us too. That darkness is in us as well. That we like to seethe, we like to be angry as we allow now think about this. I'm all for fighting. I'm all for us going against evil. I just continue to reiterate, we cannot become evil in ourselves. We cannot feel we are defrauded if we're not allowed to be as destructive as the other side. Because the moment that we fight to be evil and the right to be evil, we are no longer fighting for good. Because we have allowed partisanship and we have allowed our passions to go wild, that we have failed to recognize what it is that we're fighting for. We're blinded by rage and we're blinded by our emotions that carry us away and do the most vilest and craziest of things. I want to share a letter to you from a friend who I've known him for years on Facebook out of a Christian group where it was just, I guess, Christian apologetics. And this is Paul. He served. This is a Hispanic. This is an American of Hispanic descent. His father served in the military. He served in the military. He has done a lot, and he says, "Hi, Watson, bless you." It's like, "I bless you in the name of the Lord, brother Watson. I listened to your podcast. You linked in the post. And I don't think we're far apart necessarily in our ideas. First, I think the Old Testament, when the Israelites wanted a king, so God gave them one. In truth, they only needed the Lord. As I read the history of the U.S. Revolution about the founders and their beliefs, I firmly believe that the Lord blessed them and had a hand in the creation of this nation. Now, I agree. I'm not going to deny the reality of what God was accomplishing in this nation. Honestly, it's probably one of the most beautiful things in the world if we were able to truly carry out the blessings and appreciation and humility that God has placed on us. But again, when we are free to say and do whatever we want, pride builds up in our hearts that we start attributing our success to ourselves and not to or the benefactor who blessed us to be here in the first place. And I think it's the country, and it's like, well, don't be dominated, don't be taken over. The question is takeovers happen because God allows them. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. Tell me a civilization that fought to be conquered and has overcome that. Give me a civilization that exists today that after hundreds and hundreds of years of battles against them, they're still in existence. There is no society. There is no society. Let's get back to what he says. This usually blasts in the face of most Christians who say God is not in the nation building business. I believe that he has a purpose for doing so. Repeating patterns. So he goes through these sections as he talks about this. We see in the Old Testament a repeating pattern. God blesses a man or a group. They thrive, but over time they lose sight of where their strength and success comes from. Sounds familiar? They, added by me. Then they fall into a pit of despair. Then God lifts them out and appoints a new man who leads them. Once again, a lifetime or more, man forgets and again loses blessings. For 244 years, we have been moving further and further away from the Lord as a nation, and we are repeating that. We are in that repeating pattern. Agreed. Trump, it is 100% true that Trump is not a humble man, and I do agree, as you state, we are the emperor who has no clothes. I don't necessarily blame Trump, and I don't fully blame Trump. Understand this. I blame us, because we put all of our hope and energy and strength into believing that MAGA was the path to liberty. Trump or else. Trump or bust. That is the message that we developed over the years. I mean, that's part of the reason why I cast my vote for Trump in this past fall. Trump or bust. Except it was me walking away from the principles that I've been touting and believing for so long. I compromised myself. I compromised all of you for the sake of the win. To that end, I ask you to forgive me, but this is not what he wrote. We know it is a base of the nation who, as a whole, do not obey the Lord. That is the root cause. Secondly, because of this corruption has seeded itself through the American dough, the media is just beyond belief. Our politicians are corrupted. It's about power, prestige, and wealth. Agreed. Then there is the U.S. As you say, we want a savior, a human savior, and that is where you become 100%. This is not Trump's fault. It is our fault for doing so. So agreed. I believe that we fed his ego like we feed the ego, because there are pastors who understand pride is so easy to take over in the hearts of individuals. There are pastors who understand this is a very difficult task, and I have to do due diligence every day to make certain that I am not allowing the positive affirmations that are filling me and encouraging me to now become a stepping stone for me to rise to my altar of fame and glory. So there are pastors who understand that. And unfortunately, Paul gets into this, that we turn around and we continue to lift people up as these kings, these lords of our lives, and we expect that they're going to deliver us from all evil. See, what is it? The Lord's Prayer says, deliver us from evil. It's the Lord delivering us from evil, but now our language is deliver us from the evil of the Democrat Party. Not deliver us from the evil that's present in our hearts and around the world, that deliver us from our wicked machinations that we never pay attention to, deliver us from their evil instead of our own. This is the language. Again, this is me sidebarring from the letter. Let's get back to it. Fight the fight. We are at a place where we have to fight the good fight now. Our choices are to be bowled over by the left or stand. The question is, as Joshua stood with the Lord and conquered his enemies. Yes, our foundation must be cemented in the Lord, and we must be obedient to him. However, we must put on the armor and may have to actually take a stand against evil. The armor. He talks about the armor. I love this because this is a great letter. Because many of you probably think I'm just completely disconnected from why you feel the need to fight. I'm not. I'm there. I'm there. I'm just trying to be cautious in my steps because I don't know if I fully have confidence in a lot of the generals who are out there leading. And honestly, there aren't clear generals directing the movement to rescue America. There's a lot of people who basically say that I'm a leader. They say that you need to follow me. They say this is how we're going to take back America. But even most of them don't have a plan. Most of them don't have a clue. And most of them are infiltrated with people who will destroy the movement. The Tea Party was one of those movements. And then what happened was in 2014, 2015, because we were tired of the mamby-pamby process that Republicans were taking, we decided to start including the Saul Alinsky rules. If they can be destructive, they can be chaotic, so can we. And we began rotting the core of a movement for freedom and limited government. We rotted it out for power and prestige and partisan power taking control of the House. Let's get back to the armor and what he has to say. I've listened to many pastors preach on this, and they say the same thing. Put on the armor. Wait, just kidding. Sit down, take it off. It's metaphorical in nature, but Paul says, stand. Ezekiel 22:30 and column 30 says, so I sought a man for among them who would make a wall and stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land, that I should not destroy it. But I found no one. The Lord has killed tens of thousands of people, and he's empowered the Israelites to do the same. So, it's interesting because as people see to build a wall, they now think, it's Trump! The prophecies have come to pass. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Trump is here. Called by God. The insanity, as I say this, because it truly is insanity to say that God can only call Trump and not call Biden. That's when your partisan politics has gotten in the way that you're fighting for your party rather than you're fighting for God. Because Trump can be sent, Biden can be sent. Trump can be sent to bring blessings to this country. Biden can be sent to bring cursings. I mean, what happens if, because I still believe there's going to be a market crash, but what if God delays that market crash by 3 to 4 years? What if the Dow Jones reaches near 33, 34, 35, 40,000 in the next 4 years under Joe Biden / Kamala Harris's administration? What do you do then when all of our noise, as Renee says, that we turn around and we keep predicting that the collapse of this country will take place under communism, and God decides to give the left or give the opposition blessings and allow our markets to increase like this tomorrow, because they're going to take confidence in the success of the market like we took success a year ago. Before COVID, we were excited, and I know I regurgitated the lines of the Dow's at record things, record low unemployment, all these different things that we said, because it's to say our side is doing better without you. Partisan, passionate, or patriotic. And let's get back to what he has to say here. So yes, while we need to, one, believe and do so deeply. Pray to 2, pray endlessly, and 3, be obedient to the Lord. 4, to spread the word and teach them as all true and necessary. So we may have to put on the armor and do physical battle. But like Joshua, we must wait upon the Lord, or else risk losing all. And then he gets into talking about the end times. There are those who would profess that this is the end times. Therefore, do nothing because we cannot stop it. I would say to them, do you know it is for sure? I would venture to guess many in Nazi Germany thought it was the end of days, but it wasn't. It was evil men doing things to the nth degree. Boom. I agree. This is we have no clear understanding as to whether or not this truly is the end times. We have no idea if this is really the worst part of what's going on. We have no clue. Everything just seems, and I think that's the problem with it, is because we become so emotional, we become so partisan, we become so fearful that we ascribe more anger, more danger, more depth and deception and evil to the workers at play, that we lose sight of the overall arching anchor and author of all, God. We lose sight of he has delivered his people who put their trust in him. So the question is are we going to continue to look at the boogeyman? Are we going to look at the evil ones? Or are we going to basically put our focus on God? Now I like this says this. Now here we stand, my dear brother. Americans never do anything small, which is so good, which is so true. We do things huge. We always take things to the wall. There are true fascists in our government now, which I don't disagree. I mean, I completely agree. There are fascists in our government, but they're on both sides of the aisle. If we ever roll over to a fascist state, we will become the worst fascist state in history. And this is what happens when the leaven gets in the dough. It infects the whole dough. The problem is the whole dough has been rancor for a long time. The communism, the fascism has been in our system for a long time. I don't have the book with me right now. I'll find it tomorrow and tell you about this one. But the whole idea is when you think about all the rules and regulations, Trump did a great job in this past administration rolling back a lot of regulations to allow businesses to flourish and businesses to have the freedom to do what they need to. So I think that's great that, more businesses are free to build and not have so many restrictions against it. Yes, this is what's going to be happening. There's going to be rules and regulations that's going to paralyze the success of a lot of businesses. There won't be as much risk taking. There won't be as much spending on their people to get them to feel like they are moving in the right direction. No, we're going to lose a lot. But maybe losing that lot has to happen because we put so much confidence in this nation more than we put confidence in God. We'll go back to the letter. He says, Trump wasn't the problem, as I have said, but a symptom. We are the problem. We are diseased, infected with bad desires, wants, greed, averse. Agreed. Agreed and greed. Yes, agreed on the greed. That's in our hearts. The idea of being partisan and passionate. We think it's patriotic, but it's really our partisan. We want our side to win at all costs. We don't care. We don't care about the collateral damage to our passions. Both sides. One side burns cities. The other one burns consciences as we try to outwit the other side. We try to outstrength. We try to outnumber. We try to threat. We boast of our large armies. David did that too and was humbled. We take or have taken for granted our blessings from the Lord. So now we must do two things. First and foremost, return to the Lord as the prophets tried to warn Israel to do so many times, which is exactly where I am right now. Now understand this, I'm not the prophet, I'm not Moses, I'm not Elijah, I am just one of many thousands of people who are calling you, calling us, calling myself back to the Lord. There is no way, there is no strength, there's no chance of us overcoming this enemy if we choose not to start with God. And I close what he says. And second, stand firm in impossible, a physical fight. Thanks for sharing your video link. I agree. We stand, folks. We have a battle ahead of us. But the problem is I believe that the weapons that we have used, our carnal minds, our carnal hearts, our broken hands, and our broken bodies have taken over our ability of our spirits that must bow to the King on high. Once we get back there, our patriotism will ring true and loud and victorious. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio. Let's go to a break, and I'll talk to you on the flip side. Mind you, no audio, just a break, and enjoy the elevator music. Welcome back, everyone. This is Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio, and I'm glad that you are here with me. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio, and excited that you decide to stay connected and follow me. Today, I'm talking about partisan and partisan, passionate, or patriotic. Yeah, it's crazy. Understand this. It's crazy in terms of what you I'm not even going to try to pronounce that acronym for you got to fight for the right of your party, partisan and passion or patriotic. Folks, again, I love this because this coffee is great. American Pride Roasters coffee.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 5 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 5 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
Yes, American Pride Roasters coffee. Get yourself some Watson White Chocolate Caramel, and if you don't, you hate kittens and puppies and all things cute. Just kidding. Oh my goodness, it's too much fun with that. But let's get yourself a cat cooler too.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need cat coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Yes, cat coolers. Go there, and if you don't get a cat cooler, again, you hate puppies. You hate puppies in all things cute and adorable. I know I'm having too much fun with this one. As we sit here and we get into this thing, as we're talking about the whole idea of partisan and passionate or patriotic, one of the things that you have to understand is we get to a point. I know we're angry about the censorship. Let's go into the censorship for a minute here, because I was looking at this one article yesterday, and it was from Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. Jack Dorsey says Trump was banned after threats to physical safety, both and on and off the social media platform, but admits it sets a dangerous precedent, as Snapchat also permanently suspends him. As you sit here, I'm glad that they are recognizing that a dangerous precedent has been set by banning people. But you have to understand something. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. We've been the bullies. Now the people who were targeted by the bullies are in control. The nerds, the geeks, the rejects. They're in control because we got lax living lavishly on the fame and control that we thought we had because of MAGA and all things great. We loosen our reins to standing and protecting our freedoms and protecting our independence, and because of the fact that we thought we were on the winning side, so we're just going to coast in victory and not continue to fight. We got lazy. We got caught with our pants down, because I'm not lying to you. There's no way that you didn't know that this was coming. We've been talking about censorship for years, not just a couple of years. We were talking about censorship back when Barack Obama was president of the United States of America. So this whole idea of thinking that now we're victims because of this thing, but not all the while never planning, never instituting something, a foolproof measure that could not be destroyed, we are now wailing like victims. No, it's not right. No, a dangerous precedent has been set in basically muting the president and muting conservatives. But you have to understand something. You have to understand something here. The anger shouldn't be so much in the censorship. The anger should be in ourselves that we became so dependent on these platforms that are censoring us. See, that's where our anger, if we are to be patriotic, if we're to fight for freedoms and everything like that, when Battle for Freedom, and I say that we fight and we basically change minds one heart at a time, one heartbeat at a time. We change positions. We change our dependence. We change those things, or release ourselves from the strongholds that we have allowed to dominate our lives. Why are we angry when we became dependent on the systems that are choosing to silence us? But there was no other avenue. Yes, there was another avenue. You just chose not to go there. We chose not to go there. Even now, as we sit here, I can't stand Facebook, but I want to keep posting on Facebook because I don't want to keep hopping around looking for something to use. Remember the old days of private IP addresses where you had to type in 11.44.6.339 to, well, that's not a correct IP address, but still, because the IP addresses don't go higher than 255. So anyone who gives you anything higher than that, they're generally lying to you. Back to what I need to say here is that we may have to go back to those days where it is just our little alcoves of our data, our information that we want to manage ourselves. But you have to also remember, too, is that just because you can say something doesn't mean that you should. Because of the fact that we want to flaunt our right to say and do whatever we want. Censored, Pope. What? You're crying? Because the people who control the button keep pushing the button the wrong way to us? Is it fair? No, it isn't. It isn't. But just like I was telling Michael Smerconish about God having the right to keep whoever he wants to out of his heaven, social media platforms have the right to do whatever they want. No, it's not fair. No, we're moving to draconian laws. No, we're moving to a totalitarian. Yes, we are moving to a totalitarian state. We are. But being on social media is voluntary. It really is. If it truly was about freedom, we would be finding avenues and platforms to allow our data to exist uninterrupted by the parties that are ruining everything. So yes, a dangerous president has been set here. And understand this, that for the next few days, as we roll ourselves up to January 20th, and we get very nervous about how things are going to work themselves out, there are these new videos that are out there where it's this inspirational video of words from Trump as a speech is put together in terms of how we will fight back for our nation. But I dare say that as inspiring as that video is, this is the real message being portrayed. Thumbs up from the president as we burn this mother down. Burn this mother down. Burn this mother down. Because the president is slow to task, slow to the platform, the podium, to basically denounce. There was no reason why he needed to have Twitter to basically say, my fellow Americans, please chill out. He could have done that from the White House, just like he did before, but instead of doing this, instead of having a national speech to sit there and confront everybody, I need my social media platforms to get myself out there, get my truth out there. The agencies are working against you. Yeah, of course, because when you have a butt wart like James Comey coming out and speaking out against the president, it's really sad. He turns around, fired FBI Director James Comey, says Biden should consider pardoning Trump for the Capitol riots to heal our country, even though he believes the president belongs in jail. You have to understand, this language of peace and love. We're going to impeach, but peace and love, it's a farce. Because you remember how remember in 2008 when Barack Obama won, and all of his followers were like, nah, suck it, buttercups, you lost, and I'm getting my Obama money and my Obama phone and and then we turn around and we win in 2016, and we're like, suck it, losers, baga, we're gonna get to you, and we go through this cycle because of partisanship, that we destroy the spirit and nature of other people because our party won. It's my party. I can beast if I want to, beast if I want to, beast if I want to. You would be evil if it happened to you. Every time we choose to be very evil, it's because the other side, we don't want to be people of character, because that could really, I forgot the rhyming word to it. I can beast if I want to, I let my party speak for me. Yeah, I didn't have my tea. I didn't have my tea or whatever. Forgive me. I just wasn't ready for that. Maybe if I had some American Pride Roasters coffee, I could probably sing a lot better than that. Oh my goodness. We have allowed ourselves to let the partisan drive us. We're thinking it's patriotism, but it's partisan. I want my side to win. I want my side to win regardless of whatever's going on. So the left is going to come out and try and be these quote unquote agents of peace, despite all the destructive tendencies that they've had for the longest time. Understand this. If we focus on that, it's going to tick us off. Do you understand? Because you're mad and because we're mad, rightfully mad. Hear me when I say this. You are rightfully disgusted because of the hypocrisy and the double standards by the other side. Did you hear me? I'm not denying your right to be angry. I'm not denying your right for indignation. I'm basically unity, my stinky butt is what Sarah says. but think about this. We said, well, they didn't choose to be nice for you want unity now? The last 4 years, you didn't try to be unifying anyway. There's no way I'm going to choose the idea of unifying with you. This is what we have said. This is what we have said. And we have allowed our anger. We've beat our chests like, I will not go down being punked. Yet once again by these leftist fascists, not realizing that we have become fascists ourselves. Hey, check this out. Did you hear that Trump ordered aides not to pay Rudy Giuliani's $20,000 a day fee as he turns on his closest allies in a fury at being impeached for a second time and wallows in self-pity at the White House? Now, this is an article from the Daily Mail, so is there any truth to this? I have no idea. Right now, people are just blasting and pushing out stuff just to get content out there because tensions are high and we love looking forward towards that powder keg moment. As we sit there and we see that, yes, they could destroy our cities over the summer. Yes, it's hypocritical that the Democrats did not denounce it. And now they're denouncing all this stuff. Yes, it's hypocritical that our liberal friends and family members are sitting there and being completely silent against the violence that reeked across our nation, destroyed cities like Seattle and Portland and Minneapolis and New York and Indianapolis and Chicago. And so, well, Chicago is just always going to be riddled with destruction. But we sit there and we're angry, rightfully so, about the hypocrisy, the double standards. But you have to understand that as we sit here and allow ourselves to be carried away because our side has been defrauded from the right to be rambunctious, raucous, and even irreverent, really, are we sitting here fighting for the right to be destructive? Because we want our chance to be destructive as well. That honestly, when I look at a lot of the things that I follow, our dispositions on a lot of things that don't go our way, oftentimes, even when I think about my kids, when my kids don't do what they're supposed to, when they get busted for doing something wrong, just like Adam and Eve in the garden, instead of just saying, yes, please forgive me for what I did, such and such did this. The only reason why I'm doing this is because such and such did this. Or are you going to basically just punish me and not punish them for what they did? Maybe I didn't see what they were doing. Maybe we didn't see, and maybe we do need to know what they're doing. But we're dealing right now with your crime. God isn't going to sit there when we stand before him in the throne of heaven, at the end of days, and he says, God's like, well, why'd you do this? Well, God, is because what they did. Did you not see what the left did? Did you not see what the right did? Did you not see what Obama did? Did you not see what Trump did? Because trust me, those are words that we will want to utter. We will want to utter before God as we stand before his holiness. We stand before his righteousness. We're going to be mute. We're going to say it in our hearts, but our mouths will not go anywhere. Our vocal cords will be cut. It will be snapped. That there will be no words to utter because we will hang our heads in shame, understanding how wrong we've been this whole time. Because it's been partisan politics and passions run wild without us humbling ourselves to love our neighbors as ourselves. You check out my Deuteronomy study I did yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a lot of fun doing Deuteronomy yesterday. It was a great time. It was a great time. Robbie Turner, one of the listeners of Mojo 5 Radio, sent me this, and I really appreciate what he says. There are 3 things we need to do if we want to make America great again: put our faith in God, not politicians; promote liberty. And the last one, I forgot. There's 3. Where's the third one? Oh, yeah. Promote and respect individual liberty. Promote individual liberty and respect individual liberty. I can count. I, as a college student. Listen, folks, here we are. We have to make a decision on what will we allow to conquer our lives, or we will be burned. We will be burning as he sits there with his thumbs up. Great job, guys. Great job in burning down our nation. You on the left and you on the right. Because I'm going to basically get into my spaceship and fly away as the world burns. Because that's what he's saying. Linda says, no matter how this election all turns out, this world will never be the same. The division in this country is permanent. That's sad. That's true. Huh. Carrie says, I agree, Watson. It's draining. I'm ready to get all this done and get the running of the country started. I don't wake up and worry about politics. I wake up thanking God for keeping me alive. I don't stress on these knuckleheads. I'm serious. I'm not messing around with Quaaludes. I'm not on a medical regimen or anything like that that's allowed me to just be calm, cool, and collective. This suave guy. Prunier. Watson Prunier. No, it is basically, Lord, direct my steps, direct my mind, give me the ability to not sweat the small stuff. But it's censorship and it's tyranny and our country's about to fall. You know, when you look at the Bible, it's interesting. When it was 722 BC, where the children of Israel were carried off. The nation of Israel was carried off into captivity because of their rebellion against God. They chose not to pay attention. They chose not to follow the rules and everything like that. It would be about 100 years later, or not less than that, but around 622, 605 was the process where you started watching the children, or was it 622 or 722? 622 or 722 BC, where the 10 tribes of Israel were carried off into Babylonian captivity. And then it was, I guess maybe it'd been about 506 BC that you had the children of Judah carried on. And at one point, they thought that they were going to go down to Egypt and get some help to stop the coming judgment that was on them. They were looking for all these different avenues of finding relief from going into bondage, from going into slavery, from going into captivity. But no matter what they tried to do, even God thwarted those whom they thought were going to support them. And yes, Sarah, America needs a painful reset. Curtis says that we are headed towards a painful reset. Yes. Yes, and we have to realize that our partisanship, our passions, and our patriotism are now being torn down. Those altars are coming down because we refuse to keep our hearts low, our humility high. Our hearts low and our humility high. Because if our humility is high, then we are prostrate on the ground, bowing before an all-knowing, all-powerful, and ever-present God. The question is, are we going to fight for our party, or are we going to fight for his party? Because there's only two parties that really matter. It's not Republican or Democrat. It's not even Libertarian. It's either you're for God or you're against him. The choice is yours. The choice is ours. The choice is mine. What will we do? But understand that as you hear this stuff, as if Trump is basically turning against the people, and we've seen classic acts of him tweeting against the people that were once on his side, people that he once lifted up. Some of them have proven themselves to be traitorous. I don't agree with the actions of, I don't support the actions of Mattis. I don't support the actions of Bolton. But you made the decision to bring these people in. You made the decision to bring these people. You didn't have to choose them. You didn't have to select them. You did not have to have that person. It's like me turning around, and even though I want to blame my buddy Glenn for hooking me up or putting me next to a previous relationship, I finally made that decision to go into that relationship no matter how horrible it turned out. See, we could be mad that we feel like people betrayed us, but we made the decisions to follow people because of our passions, because of our partisan decisions, and it has laid waste to any hope or things that we have. They're going to keep saying and doing things to get us inflamed, to get us incensed, okay? Here's one that I thought was really sad. Because, again, this is about partisan nonsense, where I believe that every member of government has the right to vote their conscience and do as they see fit in their role, as long as it's within the constructs of the Constitution. So here it is. Senator Josh Hawley, this is from another thing from Daily Mail, moans about media and members of Washington establishment labeling him as an insurrectionist following the Capitol riot as he defends decision to object to electoral college count. Now, this is one of the things that I'm going to say that is really sad and it's really unfortunate. We hate when Ocasio-Cortez says dumb things or says anything or does anything, and now it's coming back to face us. It's coming back to face us. Hawley had every right to basically reject it. I have people who are saying that this is a fair election. I'm not even going there anymore. I'm not buying into those snares and traps to get me emotional on talking about something. It is evident of the election corruption. That people have compromised their integrity. They want to speak out against evil. They want to speak out against all things wrong. But it was a fair election. Whatever. You live in your la la land and I'll live in mine. At the end of the day, God is the one who has the final say on who will be kings and who will not, what kingdoms will rise and what kingdoms will fall, and who will be in heaven and who will be not, and who will not. The question is do we want to be on his side or do we want to be on our side? That's where the partisan nonsense takes place. We have to decide, and the question is, Renee answers define fair. There is no such thing as fair. There is no such thing as fair. That's what we want. We want fair, just like the left wants equality and fairness and equal opportunity or equal output. And we want the same thing. We want fairness. We want fairness to say whatever we want to. That's all we're crying for. Let us free. Keep hope alive. MAGA. There is no such thing. And I think that's the problem is we've been defining fairness according to our side for so long that God's basically saying, get back to defining fair according to my word, according to my will. We always say, let thy will be done. If it is your will, Father, if it is your will, God. But now, when it doesn't work in our favor, it's not his will. It's not his will. We're going to fight this. We're going to fight this tooth and nail. We're going to impeach this president. We're going to stop. We're going to expose election fraud. We're going to do everything we can because it's not in his will that my side should lose. See, that's when you know your partisanship is really bad, is when you keep changing the standards of what God says is going to be right and what God says is going to be wrong, as long as your side wins. And that is why we are being destroyed. Correct, Curtis. Life is not fair. Life is not fair. I just think that, you know what, if we're going to support Josh Hawley's decision to reject or object to the electoral count, we need to also support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's decision, as insane as they may be. At the end of the day, the question is are we going to be people of character and consistency, or we're just going to or we're going to be partisan hacks yelling and decreeing patriotism that's not based on truth. It's not based on concrete character. It's based on chaos, because it is chaotic. It is chaotic to establish standards that we won't abide by. Both sides, all parties involved. If we establish, life is like a box of chocolates, Dylan Lyle from Defender's Life. Hey, this started this week. It's for 2 hours, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not listening to Defenders Live and those chocolate heads, those guys out there, something is wrong with you and you hate puppies. Folks, listen, we have to decide, what are we going to do? Are we going to let life ruin us, or we're going to put our hope in the life giver? Your choice. Your choice. Brad Staggs and Daily Mojo's up next. And I want to say thank you for every last one of you who's chosen to be a part of this program. Listen, Boiling Ain't Over is just getting started. I'm your host, Watson from Battle for Freedom. I'm out. Peace. Take care. Get out of here. Go home. I'm no longer here. Goodbye.